In fifth place, we've got Perrine Duvaïve from Belgium. In fourth place, we've got Janine Jungvals from Australia. In third, Nadine Camargue from Sweden. Second place, Manon Bassaville from France. And then in first place, the current world champion, or reigning world champion, and current World Cup champion, it's Nina Reitenbach. Eric, what do you think about today? What do you think is going to happen out there on course?
I think they made the sections at a quite high level, and let's see who is the best rider with these kind of high obstacles. We not very often see this type of hard obstacles in the women's race, so it's going to be exciting.
Yes, definitely. And looking onto the sections, the section starts off with section number 1, which is Panda rocks, and then section number 2 is the logs. Then section number 3 is the big log section. Section number 4, we've got the waterfall section. Section number 5, we go into the Chengdu concrete section, representing the city of Chengdu. And then section number 5 is the UCI pickup stick section. So, very difficult course. Your personal opinion, what do you think is the hardest section here today?
I think, as it was yesterday, it was definitely the UCI section. I think that's where they put the hardest obstacles, and there are obstacles in the UCI section that would be hard for any rider in the world. Yeah. And now Irene Camino is lining up for the first section in the Panda section. She's preparing to enter. She's preparing and entering the section in her final.
So Irene Caminos from Spain coming into that, and yeah, a lot of pulling to back wheel in this section. As you can see there, having to pull the bike up straight onto that back wheel. Very little room to work with, and what makes this section quite difficult, well, from what it looks like to me, those boulders are round, so you've got to get the back wheel exactly on the top. You don't want it on the edge because it's going to become very slippery.
And they are so slippery. There are like no friction on the rocks, so you have to ride like it was like a sharp rock, because you need to be on point on the top.
On point, and that adds a lot to the technical aspect of the riding, because the riders really need to focus. So here the gates kind of climbing up, they got to carry on that ridge and move the bike to the top. Irene doing still very well. Zero points. That means she's far into the section, having picked up maximum score.
Yeah, she's on 30 points as we speak now.
30, yeah, that's good going. Now, how the scoring works is essentially you've got to get through each obstacle within the section is worth 10 points. And you'll see on the edge of that rock, as you can see that those little arrows there, the riders have to pass through that. The axles of the bike have to get through the middle of those arrows, and if it can get through, then she will get 10 points for that obstacle. So as she did there, she put her foot down, so got through. So she didn't pick up the 10 points on offer from that particular obstacle, but yet she could still carry on. If she got 5 points, meaning if she fell off the bike or put both of her feet on the ground, then she wouldn't be able to actually get those. She wouldn't be able to carry on to the next section. Is that correct?
Yeah, and this obstacle I think is quite hard, and she tries to do it. Yeah, she ran out of time maybe.
Yeah.
We don't have the time graphics here, but maybe we could do our own timing.
So essentially what happens is the riders also only have 2 minutes to get through the entire section, and as you can see there, Irene running out of time. So you've got to keep moving and essentially pick up as many gates as what you can within that 2-minute period. So next up is the Australian.
Belgian.
Oh, sorry, the Belgian. Yeah, that's Perrine Duvaïve, and Perrine has been on the podium at the World Champs before. I think in South Africa she was a third, and she took a year off competing to finish her studies, has come back and really riding very well. As you can see here, managing top 6 and finding her place in the final here today.
Yeah, and she's one of the more powerful female riders in the world, I think, together with maybe Janine and
yeah, definitely.
And Nadine. They are like the ones that jump the highest.
And she's very good on the back wheel, so Oh, getting a foot down there.
Yeah, losing 10 points.
So it's very important, and you see the riders are going to literally fight for every single gate they can get through, because 10 points can mean a win or a lose. If you take last year, top 3 positions were all even after all 6 of the laps in the men's race. So it really is important for the girls here to try and pick up every single gate they can and make sure they get through.
Yeah. This one is really slippery, because when I paint the pandas, they add this layer of paint that decreases the friction even more. Yeah.
As you can see, she got through jumping backwards, catching the bike on the back wheel. Yeah. It's a good technique, you know, managing just to get through. As we said earlier, the bike just has to get through that gate. So,
and she gives up.
5 points there.
I think she still had some time, but
yeah, I think the bike and her feet, everything touched the ground at the same time. So,
yep. But that was 30 points for Perrine, and Irene is still in the lead.
Replay there, you'll see on the screen, getting up on that back wheel. As next up,
you can see the precision and the power that you need to do these obstacles.
Definitely, and the balance as well. You know, having to keep the bike balanced on every single little point and try and find those the little ridges or cracks in the rock to try and find traction for those tires.
Yeah. And so what is special with the sections here in Chengdu is that you have to go through A, B, and sometimes C and D of the same number on the gate before you get your score, get your 10 points. So it's not enough to just jump up on the rock, you have to come down as well.
Yeah. So it doesn't help just going in fast. You gotta be controlled.
And Janine is on the course and getting up the 3rd obstacle, and she's on a clean so far.
So Janine, an ex-world champion, she's really one of the top riders on the course, but she hasn't competed on the international circuit at all this year, focusing on work. And from Australia, you know, traveling to Europe is very, very difficult. But so let's see what she could do, if she could pull one out the bag here, even though she hasn't competed that much this year. We know she's got it in her because she is ex-world champion, but
yeah, she's on 40 points and
that
looks really good.
Yeah, 40 so far, but obviously, you know, competition experience or competition, you know, being competition ready, riding in competitions is it's important, and you know, you're getting that intensity in your muscles. Oh, jumping back.
This is a difficult obstacle, definitely. So.
Look at the angle of the bike. The bike basically vertical. You got to get the.
40 points for Janine also.
Yeah, so Janine now tied with Irene.
And she walks out of the section, and you can get 5. When you get 5 penalty points, you have to leave the section, but it doesn't matter if you have 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. It's all about not getting the 5 and collecting as many 10 bonus points as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see how slippery it is with the front wheel. It's really hard to get like the hook with the front wheel here.
And it's a fine balance, because if she'd put her foot down there and put the wheel to the top, then she would have been able to maybe get through and attempt the next gate.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's worth sacrificing a gate if you know you can do the next gate, but also if you want to go for the win, you can't just throw away 10 points. So it's a fine balance to, you got to know what's possible and what's not, and you know where your skills levels are.
And there's a lot of strategy in this sport, maybe even more now than it used to be. And Nadine is easily through the 2 first gates, secured 20 points.
And she's moving nice and quickly as well. As we said, it's 2 minutes for time that she's got to get through.
Yeah, she's so stable on the bike. But a bit unconfident on that one. It looks round, but it's kind of edgy, so you have to stay very much on the top all the time, and maybe she struggles with finding the right spot to put her tires.
Because she's just got to be, if she could just get a wheel, the wheel just has to crest that the top of that rock, and then she can actually use the edge of the rock for traction to kind of pull herself onto the top there.
And she passed 1 minute and on 30 points.
So she needs one more gate to go tied with Janine and Irene. And this gate, not the easiest one, but it's definitely doable, as we saw.
Yeah. And it's perfect. She's a right-footed rider, and this is the perfect side for her to jump. She has good clearance with her left foot backwards, and she does it easily. Yeah.
So 40 points for her, and she needs to push now.
Yeah, she has about 10 seconds left, I think, 10, 15 seconds. It might be not enough to clear the last obstacle. Let's see.
She's not going to have enough time to get through here.
She works hard. Come on.
She's got to get all the way to the top of this rock.
And she's through.
She's through.
And she's in the lead. Yeah. 50 points for
Very happy.
Nadine.
You can see the emotion there, knowing.
And that was like a situation where she was quite a lot under pressure because she had just a few seconds left, and she managed to do the moves on the first try on the last gate.
Yeah.
And now we have Manon entering the section.
Manon riding for France, and a rider that absolutely loves being on the bike. Every time you see her on the bike, she's always got the biggest smile on her face.
Yeah, she does.
And she definitely rides extremely well, very controlled on the bike, and just makes very little mistakes. She always seems to, I wouldn't say she's the most powerful rider on the course, but she's definitely one of the more precise and really controlled riders.
Yeah, and I looked at some videos recently, and she's starting doing front hooks and kind of making the women's trials progressing at the moment. Learning new techniques, and you're gonna see like a revolution in women's trials in the future, I guess.
No, definitely. And also, coming from France, I think she's got a lot of support and a lot of people to ride with that she can learn from, because the sport of trials is absolutely massive in France, and on some of their group rides, they get hundreds of riders there, and you can see by how controlled and how quickly she's getting through the section. She's doing very well in here.
Yeah, and she was really, she wanted to be really certain about not getting over the yellow gate on the top of that obstacle, whereas the other women, they have been more quick and just jumped over. And also she's a right-footed rider, so this obstacle should fit her nicely.
Okay, so she's trying to find that balance point on the back wheel.
Putting a foot
down.
And she's on the border of touching her wheelbase over the arrow. She needs to get the wheel to the left.
Getting through. All right, so now she's got to really move. She's only got 9 seconds left. I don't think it's possible to get through, but you never know. Oh.
An arrow is down, but the judges didn't see it. Yeah. That was a 5, but the judges did not see it. And finally we got the timing up on our screens.
It's 5 points, so she'll need to stop there. So the rider can incur a maximum of 5 points through the section, and when they get those 5 points, they have to leave the section. So, see, they didn't give her that gate when they obviously picked up that the arrow fell off.
They could see the arrow was on the ground. Yeah, she's going to be disappointed, but. And as far as I can see now, all the riders seems to be very strong at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't see any big weaknesses on any of the riders.
As you can see there in the replay, that's the arrow coming off there.
And next up is Nina, the current world champion, and she enters the sections right now.
Yeah, so Nina, current world champion, current World Cup champion. She won every single round of the World Cups series this year. So really dominating, and she just doesn't ever seem to make mistakes, does she?
No, it seems like she wants this a bit more than all of the other women when she rides. She has this like intensity in her riding. And 20 points secured, entering the third gate.
And she's really moving quickly through the sections here. So this is the other thing. You'll see the riders really do move faster than the old scoring system, because every second counts. And if you can get, even if you can get one more gate, it means 10 extra points, which could mean the win. So the faster the riders move, the better, but also you can't rush things and make stupid mistakes. So it is going to change. The new scoring system will definitely change the sport and speed things up quite a lot. And you know, the style of like hanging around and yeah, really lining up and, you know, hanging on a section, I think that's gonna probably change quite a bit.
She's on 40 points. A clean so far.
35 seconds to go.
Still 30 seconds, so it looks like if she can get through this section, it looks like she's going to go into the lead.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the time for the last gate, but depending on how quickly she solves this one, she's out. 40 points, 50 points. And she has 11 seconds left, which is, yeah. Can she make it? Yeah.
This is a big pull. Look at her body.
Yeah.
Bent over that handlebar.
No, she can't make it.
That bike basically vertical, and
goes into the lead.
I think if you know, if that's low down, it's fine. But when she's standing up there, it's high up, and if you go over the handlebars, it's or if you fall over backwards, it's not going to be a soft landing.
No. And after the first section, we have Nina and Nadine. No, Nina got 50 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nadine got 40.
So
Something
Nina's
we didn't
currently
see.
in first place.
Didn't Nadine get 50?
No. Nadine was 40 points, Janine 40, Irene 40, Manon 30, and Perrine 30. So yeah, currently that's your top 6 after section 1, and that's the Chengdu Panda section. Obviously, pandas are the one of the highlights of the city of Chengdu, and really awesome little creatures.
And we're moving over to the Wanda section, and Irene is already riding, completing the first obstacle on a clean.
All right, so there's the overview of the section, and that's how these courses are designed and built. The guys do up 3D sketches of what they have to look like, and it isn't just a pile of logs or rocks thrown together. Each section is really specifically designed, and different moves are thought out. So they actually cause the riders to have to do certain moves and try and change up that they use. The riders use a different skill for each obstacle.
And let's see how Irene solves this. Okay, she puts a dab, because this is a hard move. You have to keep it on the first gate to jump over to the next one, and she put a foot, so she can just put a foot on the next one, because there is still no points to gain from this obstacle.
Yeah.
And there's some quite big moves in this one.
Very big moves, and Irene doesn't have the power of some of the other riders. She's a very technical rider. A lot of the Spanish riders are very technical. They ride a lot of sharp rocks back in Spain, and so the technical side is good, but sometimes the power, and those are two very big moves, having to jump the bike onto the back wheel.
But this one was doable, and she got 10 points, yeah, on the 30 points so far. And she has 16 seconds for the side up, which is the right side for her.
Yeah.
She's right-footed, jumps to the left.
Nice.
And she didn't get her axle into the gate, and she gets a 5 and no bonus point for the last gate. You could see
up,
that
but
she was
missed it,
standing too far back, and she jumped with her axle behind the left arrow.
Yeah, so as we said on section 1, the bike has to go between the arrows. Now, what you guys at home couldn't see was on the other side of that bridge.
Yeah.
There's 2 arrows, and when she jumped up, her rear axle went outside of the one arrow, so she just wasn't far enough forward. And the temptation to go back is obviously there, because the further back you go, the lower you have to jump. So a small mistake costing her 10 points.
Yeah, it's a technical takeoff. It's like a downsloping takeoff.
All right, so Perrine into section number 2, the Wando logs, and solid 10 points so far, moving nice and quickly. She's lining up for a kick to back wheel. Let's see how she does this. Oh, no, she's going to be upset about that.
Yeah, she shows another line than Irene, whereas Irene did like a side up, more like a safe move, when Perrine did like this pedal up the rear, which is more like a risky move, and you have to jump higher.
Yeah.
And we see Janine is lining up to enter the section.
So Perrine really good at those pedal ups, but that time just missing it by a fraction of a bit on that. As you
One
can see,
thing
the
you
back
can't
wheel's
see here,
just not getting high enough.
yeah. And you can't see how uneven the surface is. It looks like a green field, but it's not. It's so bumpy and
Yeah.
it's really hard for
the grass
runners.
was laid down specifically for the event. So the problem is that, as you can see there, the grass is very bumpy. It's not smooth. So trying to get traction on it is, or not traction, but trying to get speed on it is hard because that small wheel kind of follows the contour of the grass. Oh, as you can see there, Janine just making it. So Janine managing to pull off that move that Perrine didn't. So 20 points on the board for Janine, and let's see if she can keep it on the back wheel through here and get her 30 points so far for the section.
Yep. And I think it was a smart move doing the pedal up on the previous obstacle because she has to do another one here, so you can kind of get into the technique and get your confidence before you have to jump even higher.
Yeah. Problem is, this is higher with less of a run up. Come on, hold it. Oh,
And she
nicely
makes it
done. Yes.
easily.
Super controlled.
First to get through that gate. And another pedal
Yes.
up easily, yeah.
She
managed to hold it, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the biggest of the 3 pedal ups. As you can see, way higher than her handlebar height. So currently 40 points, and this looks like it's going to be, if she gets out of here, 50 on the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
She can make the last one easily. So let's see if we get the first full score. Her axle was outside again. She jumps too far back.
5 points, too far back. She's going to be so upset about that.
But 50 points, it's really strong. 20 more than
very strong.
Irene. And her minder, Carlos Diaz, is happy.
Yeah. But as you can see, she had very little time, and coming to the end there, having to really rush, and that's the difficult thing is you got to pull off a big move, but and you got to think about it, but you don't have time to think about it. You just got to kind of go. What do you do in that situation where you're kind of at the end of the section, and I mean you were on the course yesterday,
yeah.
And the time's running out, and you can kind of get one more gate, but you can't. You got to like take an extra second. How do you deal with that mentally?
I mean, with the new system, you have nothing to lose for just trying, whereas in the old system, you had to just get through the gate to complete a section, even though that was 1 point or 2 points. So I think with this system, you can more like go for it in another way than you could do back like 2 years ago, when we had the last older system. And Nadine, she lines up a side up, the first to try a side up here. She's a right foot rider, which I think is a disadvantage in this situation. It would be much better to side up the other way. And she got 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, let's
3
see how many
points,
she gets
yeah.
for that. So the
And
other
4
problem
points.
now is that this is costing her precious time. So
and she has to make it on a clean now to continue the section. She got through without putting a foot, and she's able to
carry on
try
to
the
the next
pedal up,
section.
yeah.
That was a good pull to back wheel.
Yeah.
Because it's very narrow where she's got to land.
And she cannot afford more than one try on each obstacle if she wants to complete it. No.
Yeah, the sections are so long here. It's almost like you if you want to get out, you need to get everything first time.
Yeah, and she makes it. And
She
she's
does.
at 30 points.
So 30 points on the board.
And she's going to secure those 40 also. And 10 seconds left for the side up, which I think is something she can make.
Yeah, but she's got 5 seconds, 4, 3.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. But that was actually inside the gate. The
Yeah.
first one to be inside the gate.
As you
Though
can
she
see,
slipped.
she'd obviously watched. She watched Janine. She watched the mistake and went further forward. But you can see it's a lot higher where she jumped.
Yeah.
The height is a lot more.
Yeah, it increases a lot. And next up we have. Yeah. We have Manon coming up next.
Yeah, so Manon from France. As you can see, they're really controlled. Now, that's on TV. You can't see how steep that log actually is. In fact, it's so steep you can see they've put a mesh on it, because if they didn't, the wheels would just slip clean off. It is very, very, very steep.
And luckily, it's not raining, because that log would have been way too slippy for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For riding without this chicken wire. Or
all right, so. And I'm also going for the side hop to back wheel there, which is seems like it's a good move. Also
yeah, I think it's a smarter move, yeah.
Yeah, it
safer.
kind of seems like it takes less energy as well to do that.
And I mean, if you don't make it, you get 1 point, but if you don't make the pedal up, you slip over the arrow and you get the 5 like Brain. Oh. That was a really nice side up.
Yeah, very nice.
In control.
Unfortunately, just not keeping it on the top there.
Oh, no.
Oh, just going over. 3 points.
Nearly a 5, but she managed to not put both feet on the ground.
But she went through the gate. So with the new scoring system, you can actually go through the gate twice, whereas in the past you couldn't.
No,
so
now she gets a 5, no? Because she went through the gate, but then she went back again.
No, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly. But I do know that if you've entered through a gate, you can then go around and go through the gate again.
If you need that to do the next one. Yeah. But now she went through the gate and jumped back again, and then she did not get through it once more, which I think is a 5. But I'm not an expert in the rules. 40 points.
40 points. She is fighting hard. Oh. Yeah. So 40 points for her here on the section. And 5 points there. The last point going on that side hop. And as you can see, she's very rushed to try it, but she just didn't pull it off.
Yeah. And Nina is ready to enter the section. The first sector is quite easy for all the girls. It's just like small logs going back and forth. That's it. Yeah. It's on the third and maybe last obstacle the real difficulties come.
So the course builders try and make the obstacles harder and harder and harder as they go through the section. So the deeper into the section you go, the more challenging the section actually becomes. And but obviously that's not always the easiest to do, and very nicely done. That's a different technique.
It's like a combination of all the other girls' technique. Yeah.
So getting the front wheel on, then swinging the back wheel across, it was kind of energy efficient and fast.
Yep.
That was a good move.
Yeah, it was. And she lines up for side up or run up.
Wanting to go for...
yeah, she wanted to tap the front wheel and then jump up the rear wheel.
Jump to back, yeah.
Yeah, but she couldn't do it. And you see Nina has maybe the best control of all the women in the world. She's like, you're never insecure if she's going to land at the right spot or not. She always lands on the perfect spot.
Very nice. Look at that. So using that same technique that she tried on the previous log, she got it perfectly there. Just tapping that front wheel into the log and using the pressure off the front wheel to kind of push the bike up and get both wheels onto the section.
And that is a technique you can use on obstacles just up to a certain height, which is the height that the women's sections are at the moment. So in the future, that technique will be less used.
All right, so here we go. She's got
at the gate.
She's got time.
And she's inside. That's definitely...
yes, so she gets out.
Same score as Janine.
Yeah. And
she's in the lead.
In the lead overall on 100 points. Second is Janine in 90. We got Nadine 80, Manon in 70, Irene 70, and Perrine in 40. Perrine's not going to be happy with this. She's riding really well, but that mistake early in the Wonder logs has cost her very badly.
But as we've seen in previous years, everything or anything can happen still. We're only through 2 out of 5 sections, and it's a lot of points. It's 180 points still available.
Definitely, and as you see for Perrine, she made one mistake in the Wonder logs, and it's put her in 6th place. Any of the riders can make a mistake anywhere else, and I do think that the toughest sections are still to come.
Yeah. It's increasing in difficulty from section to section.
All right, so that's looking at the waterfall section, and really a beautiful section. Well done to the team for getting that together. And essentially, this goes back to the very kind of roots of trials of riding through water, and they make the riders on this section go into the water. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't think any rider likes to get the tires wet and the brakes wet, but it's the same for everyone. And I think it's a cool section because it's not only the emphasis on the high jumps, but also on just the technical stuff. You have to put your wheels at the perfect spot.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Irene is struggling with the precision here.
Yeah, yeah. The thing that you got here is it's not like big rocks. It's lots of little rocks, so the tires can get caught up in so many different kind of grooves or ruts or anything, and it's wet, so the brakes are maybe not as sharp as what you want them. So
No.
definitely makes it a very, very technical.
And what's the good thing for Irene here is that this sector is actually 2 sectors. So now she's getting through gate number 3.
Yeah.
When she's jumping down. No, that was sad. Because she could jump down here and she would still get 10 points. Because it's divided into 2 sectors, that one big obstacle.
That one big obstacle, yeah. Oh, she's really struggling on these.
It's extremely slippery and you kind of have to go for it just to get down.
How did you find this section yesterday on the
I really like it, but there were some loose rocks and some very pointy rocks and rocks that came loose after you landed on them and stuff. So it's hard, but it's not the hardest section. It was maybe the easiest section yesterday.
Yeah, there was a lot of clean runs on the section yesterday, but of course the course does change day by day. So the course that the riders rode yesterday is not as difficult as what it is today.
And she ran out of time.
Irene running out of time, yeah. She really struggled on that waterfall, and it just cost her too much on time.
And that was 20 points.
Yeah, 20 points from the section. So let's see what.
Replay there, a very technical obstacle. Really have
As you
to
can see
pick your way
on
through
that
it.
close-up of the
Next up,
tires,
will
it
be
really is
Karina
such
Head
precision
from
needed.
Belgium, as she
That was
gets
a really
on
good
to
move.
the waterfall
It was a good move,
section.
but the as you can see, she was on her bash guard.
Yeah.
So the bash guard or the protector on the frame underneath is not allowed to touch any of the obstacles. If that bash guard touches anything, it's considered a dab, as if you were putting your foot down, and you won't get the points in that section.
Yeah, the rulebook says that any touch on the obstacle or ground to re-establish the rider's balance will result in a penalty point.
Yeah. All right, so in the section now, Perrine de Wever from Belgium, and still 0 points, but this is where things came apart for Irene, so let's see if she can keep it together here. Nice.
Yeah, she got through. 20 points. And she gets out because she wants to turn, no?
Okay.
No,
so
she shows another line.
yeah, so she's not going over the top, but yet going through the side. Yes, look at that. A huge big kick onto that rock section.
And now she avoided the hard part where Irene was struggling.
Yeah.
That was a really smart line. I think she should save like 30 seconds on that line.
Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah, and the next one should be easy for her. Is just get your rear wheel up on the log and ride along it.
Of course, the Belgian riders are very good with their tactics, and they really do look at the sections well and understand the course well.
They have some really good minders, and I guess Wesley is helping her today.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be.
He's a really experienced rider.
So the riders, as they go through the course, they have a minder. That's somebody that... oh, no!
Did she get through? I think her rear axle was through before she fell.
I think
Let's
so
see what
too.
the judges says.
40 points.
Yeah.
So she's going to be happy.
That's the
could have
nice
been
thing
a
with the
50.
system. Like now, normally she would get the 5, would be the same as crashing on the first obstacle, but now she got her 40 points. Oh,
As you can see,
It's
she's
50
smiling.
points.
She's happy with that because she knows 40 in the bag is a good score.
that means she did not get the last one because she got 40.
Yeah, 40.
Yep.
So she didn't get the last, but
No.
Up onto the waterfall section.
just not, just if you watch that back wheel, watch the back wheel. The back wheel just comes off too early, clips the rock, throws it over the handlebars. Good save for not getting totally wet.
Yep.
All right, so Janine in the section, and let's see if... do you think she
on 10
would
points.
have seen Perrine's line and maybe thought to herself, hey, let me try that rather? Or do you think that maybe she's, you walk the section, you know where you're going to go. Would you change, like, if you see another rider, or...
It depends. If you see like this is so much better and it works for you, you should change. But in the end, you have to choose the lines that works best for you and your technical abilities. And yeah, that's the most important thing. And she got a dab, and she cannot get a full score in this section. And she chooses the, I would say, the standard line here, which she does easily. Yeah.
It's definitely harder going over the top there. So it was a very clever move of Perrine going around the side. Look, it's not an easy move. You've got to do that big jump up onto the log, but obviously Perrine, we do know she's a very powerful rider. And all right, so if you see Janine on her one leg has got a shin guard only on one leg, and if you want to know why they would only wear it on one leg, the riders have they will either ride left or right foot forward. So in Janine's case, she's right foot forward, and if her right foot happened to slip off the pedal, all of her weight is on the left, and the pedal will swing around and hit her on the shin.
The back foot.
Yeah, the back foot goes down
backwards,
and the weight like rockets that pedal around and takes out your shin. And those shin strikes can be rather brutal, leaving massive scars. I think any trials rider, if you don't have huge scarring on your shins, then you're not a real trials rider. And
that's why I don't wear shin protectors.
You don't ride with shin protectors?
No, never.
Yeah,
the scars
myself,
are part of my identity. Yeah.
I don't ride with them, but a lot of riders do, because it's probably one of the more painful things in life to have a...
No, it's painful in the beginning, but after a while your nerves steady get used to it and you don't care anymore.
Oh, as you can see there, Janine
that
going
was 30
over
points for Janine.
Yeah. So there she didn't go over an arrow, but she did go over the ropes, and the bike is also not allowed to cross over the ropes. The ropes demarcate the sections, and you can't cross over them either. So going over the rope would give you 5 points.
I think this section suits Nadine really well. She has this calm riding style.
And she's going quickly.
Same line as Perrine. You see her eyes is on the grass and she's going to drop down.
It's much faster than going over the top there.
And also it's less risky if you have the power to do that jump. It's the wrong way for her, so let's see if she likes it or not, but it's easy. Now just don't slip and jump down. That's 30 points.
30 points for her. It's also that line's also difficult in the sense of just getting the bike onto the back wheel. You've got to kind of jump forward and keep it on the back wheel, but there's a lot of rocks to catch the back wheel and stop the forward movement. So you've got to be very careful there and make sure the bike goes up nice and high to land on the rock on the back wheel.
This is a kind of section where if you've been snowboarding or surfing, if you get that feeling, it's better to ride it because you're used to that slipping feeling.
Yeah.
And she's from Sweden, so she is in a country where you ski and snowboard a lot in the winter. No, she put a foot and she has no time to finish the section, I guess.
Well, she can maybe pick up one more gate.
Yeah, the last gate is really hard in this section, and it takes time to do the last gate, and she knows that. So.
She's realized that. And the other thing is now she didn't get wet, so that's an advantage. Her bike is still nice and dry, and although the riders are allowed to change bikes between sections, so some of the riders will opt to take one bike for the water section and change over to their second bike for the remainder of the course.
Which is something Nadine did. You see they were out with the pliers and were cutting off her zip ties for the start number right as she finished the section.
Yeah. So what the riders will do is they've got a spare bike. Unlike the sport of cross country where you have to start and finish on the same bike, you're allowed to change tires and chains and things, but you're not allowed to change bike. Trials is more like cyclocross where you are allowed to change bikes. So riders will have two identical bikes. The setup's the same, the handlebars, the wheels, everything's the same. It doesn't matter whether you take one or the other, and they will swap over bikes between the sections.
And this
So-
section is as hard for the rider as for the judge, you see.
Yeah.
He has to walk through the section. And Manon is riding really, really well, you see. Oh, nearly
Ooh,
missing that gate, but
almost
she's
missing,
on 30
but
points.
She's through 30 points and she's going nice and quickly.
Yeah, 15 seconds more than the other riders.
Well, that's also the benefit of starting slightly later in the, and not being the first rider in, as you can kind of watch what the other riders did in terms of time. You can watch in terms of, the mistakes they made, and you can kind of learn from that. Yeah, so kind of keep it more together.
Yep. And with 26 seconds left, she should be able to make this one. Yeah, she makes it.
Nicely
In
done.
the water, 20 seconds left to finish the last obstacle.
This is definitely the hardest obstacle of the section.
Yeah.
That near vertical climb up there, and what's hard here is that front wheel has to land exactly on the log. Oh, taking the dab.
And she just rides along it, even though she doesn't need to.
Yeah.
But that is 50 points, highest score so far.
Yep, on the section, well done.
And there is, look at the scores now. 3 riders at 120 points. And it's up to Nina to see if she still can be in the lead.
Yeah, so Nina has to get more than 20 points on the section to stay in the lead. That in theory should be easy for her, but you never know, especially on this water. One small slip of the wheel or one small mistake, and you can end up with 0. So, but Nina is very precise. She does have more control than, or it seems like she's got more control on the bike today than anybody else. She's been very accurate. Although, definitely not going. Oh!
Landed on the arrow. So that's almost a
So
5.
if you have a look at the scorer there, literally in the waterfall, watching those tires, and he's got to watch so carefully, because if the wheel does go over, then it's 5 points. So he's unfortunately gonna get wet.
And that is 30 points for Nina, so she's in the lead with 130 points.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a section where she wins the competition. If she can gain a solid lead after this section.
She needs. Although she can't win it, but she can definitely get a good lead going out of this section, and it would be. If she gets 60 points here, if she gets a maximum, that would be really good. But she's not going to get out with the time she's got. She hasn't gone quickly enough. She's got 16 seconds, and that last gate is going to be a big ask to do this in less than 10 seconds.
But never say never, like, this is possible now.
Yeah.
With 5 seconds left. She makes it. Oh, she made it, I think. Her axle was true.
Jeez. Took about a lunge for the end.
That's
Literally
like a nose
falling
dive
over the
from
line.
1.5 meters.
And all that had to happen was her front axle had to cross that line to get out. And did they give her the 60? They have. She got the 60.
Yeah, she
well
got the
done
60.
to her there. So
Crashing her way into 60 points.
30-point lead now over Manon. And what a ride for her there. Literally giving it everything to cross that line. Let's have a look.
And that's what I was talking about in the Panda section.
Just
it's
watch
like
this, just
she
watch
wants
this.
it more. She wants it more than the rest. Look here. The axle is true and the foot dabs.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1 centimeter of margins.
We saw that Vincent Hermans had the same thing in Berlin in the last World Cup, where he literally like slid across the line, but that front axle was out, so it was the full 60 points. So as we stand, Nina Reitenbach, 30-point lead. Then we got Manon, Janine, and Nadine Kamark, all on 120. Irene on 90, Perrine on 80. And we're going into what was yesterday definitely one of the hardest sections. Definitely the Chengdu section and the UCI section are 2 of the hardest sections, and that's because of the height. Oh, nicely done. 2 front wheel.
Yep. 10 points. And now they're riding up to this first one and then to the right on the red concrete tube, which I think is quite easy line for most of the riders here.
Yeah.
You can see, so this section so far is quite easy, but this one is a really strange obstacle. Like you have to jump between those two round obstacles.
Yeah.
There's no way you can land. You just have to
So
dive
those
through it.
concrete discs are kind of I suppose they're designed to be the lids of big concrete tubes, and by putting them up vertically, it's very narrow, and you gotta like kind of jump through. But what you got to be careful of here is that your pedals don't catch or anything. So you got to go kind of high and through the gate.
Fly through it, yeah. And you can see she's doubting herself slightly,
Yeah.
so she's not jumping enough forward. Come on, move the knees forward. She still has plenty of time, so she can make this one. Just more jump. Yeah. And fly through it. No, she doesn't. She chooses another line, which is a risky line because she can go through the gate really easily. But she made it.
She makes, yeah. But I think going through those two discs is risky. You don't want your pedals to catch. You don't want your, you can't like kind of ride it through. Oh, look at that!
What happened?
I thought she was up. I think she just lost balance or something. That was weird.
She got 5 points.
I wonder if she thought she was out of time.
Maybe she was out of time. Maybe the on-screen graphics was 15
might
seconds
have
late.
been wrong, yeah.
It happens sometimes, and that has been a problem. That the riders, they didn't ask the commissar about the time because they just watch the screen, and the screen has like a 10-second delay, and riders they run out of time before they know it themselves.
So as you can see here, Irene attempting that obstacle 3 times in a row. She got it. The one you're seeing now is when she got it, but she did attempt it 3 times. And if you're gonna go at a gate 3 times, you're gonna run out of time. You're not gonna get out of this section.
You see, Perrine chooses the bigger gap from the white concrete instead of from the red one, because she has maybe more power than Irene.
Okay, so let's see how she handles this. Pull to back, bike almost vertical, handlebars into your waist. Nicely done there, controlled.
Easy 20 points for Perrine.
I almost think this section suits Perrine a bit more.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of power.
Yeah, less technical, more power.
Yeah.
Same for her.
Also
She's
struggling with that.
Doubting it. Yeah.
I think the thing with this is, pulling it to the back wheel is one thing, but when you pull it to the back, and then you kind of look at that gap between the discs that you got to go. Oh, 5 points. Her front wheel went over the axle.
I'm not sure if that was correct because her front wheel was on the top of the white one.
Yeah, but
so I'm not sure if it was a 5, but it would have been a 5 because there was no way she could get through that pink gate without crossing it.
Yeah.
If not, she would have. She had to go backwards, which is kind of ugly between those two round discs.
Yeah, such control, keeping the bike nice and vertical. She's going to be very unhappy about that because I think she had a great opportunity to get some big points here in the Chengdu section.
And Janine is through the first gate. We can see from the commentator's box here, and easily through the second one.
She's really going
20 points.
Extremely fast through this section, and she's going to need to get a good score here to just make sure that she doesn't let Nina get away and just literally take the title.
I would say she needed a full score.
She needs a full score. Without a full score here. Oh, nicely done. Look at that.
But I'm not sure how she's going to solve this one. It's
5 points.
5. It is impossible to get through that one in that way.
Yeah.
You have to do the surge technique where you put the front wheel on the top of the red concrete and go straight to back wheel.
Straight to back wheel,
It's really the only option.
You cannot side up that one. So as we were saying earlier, the different sections force different moves, and the way they position the gates. So in that section, you saw some pull to backs, you saw a couple of different moves, and what that one makes you do is literally have to go dead straight. You can't angle the bike sideways at all. It has to go straight up forwards, which takes a lot of power, and you can see Janine having exactly the same thing there.
And now you see the advantage of starting later, because now Nadine and Nina, they know you cannot do the side up. You need to do the surge. And then really, if Nadine tries the side up,
it will be interesting, because obviously Nadine
really
is watching.
strange,
You know, Nadine watches the riders ahead of them, and you kind of learn, and that's why the semi-final is so important.
Yeah, it surprises me if she does the side up, and she has the power to do the surge. So let's see. Yeah, she lines up for the surge.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, perfect balance.
Perfect balance. Look at that focus. Looking down on the bike, keeping it controlled. She's going to dip as low as she can and then thrust the bike up vertically and pull it and try and hold it on that back wheel.
First
Hold it. Yes.
That's a nice line on that sloping, slippery surface.
And she didn't take too long to do it. So from a time point of view, she still got lots of time on the board.
And now you see why Irene got the 5, because she forgot this gate.
Oh, yes.
That was the reason she got a 5.
Yeah.
Leading with the front and easily up on that concrete tube.
All right,
yes.
so 30 seconds left in the section. Currently 40 points. She's got 2 gates left.
Up on the red concrete and then over to the yellow horizontal one.
This is not the biggest move.
No,
She's got
white one.
20 seconds to go. Hold it,
Yeah.
hold it.
Come on. No.
Oi. Oh, good save.
That's acrobatics. She did not get any points for that one.
No.
The rear axle never went through.
No,
She tries to get it.
No, she was hoping she got it, but no.
I think actually she went through before. Let's see if we can get the replay, but to be fair, she crashed over the entire obstacle, and that is the reason why they often put the gates on the ground or the next obstacle.
Yeah.
So you have to be in control over the entire obstacle. You cannot crash over like she did now. Let's see the
Let's see if
replay
she
now.
can get it forward.
Yeah, it was true. Yeah.
It looked like
And
it
then he
was.
went back again, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think the bike sliding back is what
But I
caused
mean,
it.
once you're through, you got the points. Then it doesn't matter if you get back again, when it's only one gate. Yeah. Same line as the other riders,
and
except
quickly.
Irene.
All right, so lining up for this pull onto the back wheel. Nadine was quite a lot quicker through this, and the section is long, so Manuel's going to have to really get a move on here if she wants to get... Oh! That is not a good start into the section.
She bent the arrow, but luckily it didn't fall off.
Fall off, yeah.
Then it would be a 5. But this is not like the best preparations for the next move, because this is even harder than the previous surge she did.
And
Yeah.
does it play like a mental game on you if you've got two of like a similar move and you don't get one right and the next one's bigger? What goes through your head when you're in the sections?
Oh, you kind of lose your self-confidence, I guess. And yeah, she didn't do the same mistake. Like the previous one, her rear wheel was too close to the obstacle, so she touched on her way up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
And
same line as
Nadine. So
20 points. This should be 20
why
points.
is it saying
right?
only 10, but it should be 20?
Yeah, because she's not completed the B gate. Yeah, now she has 20 points.
20 points. All right,
Yeah.
but she's only got 22 seconds left.
The
And,
run-up should be possible.
This is going to be quite a big ask. She's got to really move quickly if she wants to get the next gate.
Yeah, with a quick solution now, she makes it. But yes.
Yes, look at that.
Ah,
The timing was
within the time or without? That was
40
on the
points.
limit.
It was within the time. What a recovery. She's she can be happy with that from...
She got the last one, yeah?
Yeah, she could have had 50 points out of that.
Look how happy she is.
Yeah, very, very happy because she knows that section didn't go well for her in the start with that mistake on the pull, on the first small pull, and she came back very, very strong. Well done to her.
And she's back on the podium.
Yeah, second place currently.
And let's see what Nina can come up with here.
But Nina is now a section ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very hard to pull back with one section to go. So it's going to need literally a huge mistake from Nina in this section and the next one to give anybody a chance of beating her today.
But she can be in a position where she only needs like 10 or 20 points in the last section to secure the win.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's on the limit, but she did a side up without getting a 5. Because she jumped more straight, I think.
Yeah, she did like, oh!
That's things that can happen here on the gravel.
You've got to be
loose,
so
yeah.
careful.
Yeah.
That must just feel so terrible when you've done everything so perfectly and then a silly slip of the wheel like that on a flat surface.
But look at the time, she has 1 minute left with 2 obstacles to go.
She's going to finish this. Well, let's hope she gets through to the end of this section. I want to see her cross the line at the end. So yesterday on the Chengdu section, not a single rider managed to get out of the gate. Jack Carthy was the closest.
Yeah.
And he made a small mistake right in the end, which stopped him from getting through.
And I guess she goes to rear wheel because it's more safe. No, she goes to 2 wheels. Get your bikes.
Look at the control, just
forward.
keeping the balance.
Yeah. And that means that now she only needs 20 points in the last section, and all the other riders need 60 points to beat her. So she's won.
Yeah.
Because I guess, in my opinion, the UCI section is hard to complete. It's really hard to complete.
And I think the course builders did this on purpose. They wanted if you want to call it a racing section, where the guys just have to go flat out, like full taps, open the throttle, and just try and get to the end. And the only way to get through there is to hit everything first time, every time, and literally just if you make one mistake and have to hit any obstacle for the second time, you ain't gonna get out there.
No. But if you look at the section so far, there has been 1 or 2 riders completing a section so far.
Yeah.
So the sections are really hard.
Very, very difficult, yeah.
But I mean, if Manon and Nadine misses 1 gate in the last section, Nina only needs to do 1.
Yeah.
Because she's the only one with 60 points so far. So she's got with an even score, she's going to win with one more 60. And here you see the overview of the UCI section.
It's definitely a very interesting section. The logs at angles, those stairs are a challenge, and they get very high. It's
especially with right foot forward.
Yeah.
It's like conflicting with the next step, which didn't seem to be any problem for Irene.
There is quite a bit of space to work with, I suppose.
And this red beam, I was standing on that beam earlier today, and I was just like sliding down on my feet. There is like no grip on that red beam.
Controlled on the back wheel going around.
Look at the control, yeah.
Nice, look at that.
And now she has to go through that gate and then to the left, keeping it up on the red beam.
Yeah. Oh,
easily, yeah.
Nice, look at that.
So far, 40 points. Which proves that this might not be the hardest section.
No, it doesn't seem to be, but she's moving very, very, very quickly. Taking 1 point there.
Getting plenty of time for the last obstacle.
Okay, so she obviously, there's 1 more gate she knows she can do, and this is the last gate of the section.
Yeah, and now she has to go to the left, yeah.
is she going to get out? She's got 10 seconds to get out the finish. Come on, let's push it through. Yes.
And once you're through the finish line, you have the scores of the last gate.
The last gate,
you
yeah.
have to cross the finish line.
Yeah.
And
So
that means that everything can happen if she got through on 50 points.
yeah. This really does open it up, because now we know the section is possible. That really puts a lot of pressure onto Nina, but also onto the other riders, because they know a mistake from Nina and a clean 60-point run from them can change change everything here.
Yeah, but still with a 60 point on Manon and Nadine, Nina only needs 20 points to win.
Yeah.
So, or 30 to be 100% safe. 20 points so far on Perrin. And she's left-footed, so this kind of staircase is more of her advantage.
Yeah. So if you're listening at home and you're wondering what we talk about with left and right-footed, we have explained it earlier, but we'll do it again. And that is, some riders, like you would be left or right-handed, some riders will have their left or right foot forward, and obviously for different moves or techniques or the way the obstacle lies, sometimes it gives you a little bit more room, like at an angle like you saw on those stairs, where there's more room if you're going up to the one direction than would were if you were going up to the other direction.
She chooses another line than Arena. That was not the best line, maybe.
No.
That was her World Championship final.
Yeah, she's not gonna be happy with that. She's been on great form, and just not coming together for her here today.
That's the 6th place for Perrin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But keeping in mind, she only did like 1 World Cup this year. And she's been focusing on studies. I think this is a great result.
Yeah, just getting into the final here is a great result. I mean, I think many riders, you must understand that. I mean, you see this competition, but this is the 6th best woman in the world that is here today. And so, yeah, just being here, just competing today is a really incredible achievement on its own. So Janine having a much better competition this year than last year. Last year she managed to go over backwards and really took a heavy knock on her head, and the competition just really all went downhill for her from there. Yeah, I don't know if Perrine's choice of line for this was altogether that.
It would have been more effective, like time-wise, but it was more of a
risk, yeah.
Risky line, yeah.
Yeah, well, also she had nothing to lose and everything to win by going for it. She could, you know, if she made it, she would have made time and probably got to the end. So.
And she is on the same score as Irene so far.
Yeah.
Depending on the next obstacle, where Irene took a dab.
So if she can get through this, she's got 30 seconds left, so she's got a lot of time.
And she just has to get through that one. And she saved another 10 points. Yes.
Yeah.
15 seconds left for the hook.
And to get out. Come on. You don't have time to. No, that wasn't. You've got to pedal in. It's just too far to kind of jump it up. So the technique she was trying there was to kind of just, no, didn't happen. The technique she was trying to do there was literally just static jump forward, and you need more momentum. You have to pedal into that one.
And the podium is actually at risk, it looks like, with Manon and Nadine and Nina with high scores. So Manon and Nadine, they only need 20 points to get Janine out of the podium.
Yeah.
Oh, that was almost a 5 of Janine bending the arrow. And Nadine is on the course.
All right,
this is quite a long line. It's like 4 gates you have to complete before you get 10 points.
So it starts on the other side of that U, the big U from the UCI. And it literally kind of snakes its way through the center of the U, up onto this blue log and through. So And it's the arrows are very tight on that section. Eh?
Yeah,
It's,
they are.
you've got to be very accurate.
And again, a right-footed rider, so this, you have to be really concentrated on your right foot, not to touch it into the next step. Come on, Nadine. Yes.
Yeah, nicely climbing it up, keeping it controlled.
Yeah. She's planning to go straight to Rebel? No.
She needs 30 points here to get ahead of Janine.
And the judge said she touched her pedal. So that's, she lost.
She lost, so she needs this to jump Janine on the point. So this is a very, very important section from her. She got lots of time on the clock still, 33 seconds, and if she can get five,
she goes backwards through the red juniors gate. It's really sad.
She's going to be devastated by that.
But it is a podium.
It is a podium, but Manon is.
It's a third place.
Manon's currently in 4th place, and she's.
Yeah, it's not a podium. It could be at 4th place.
This could change everything.
Yeah. Because Janine is ahead because she has a 50 score section.
Yeah.
Whereas Nadine only has 40 points.
So Janine's currently in 2nd, and Manon has to get
20. Only
20 to be even.
Yeah, but then she has a 50-point section,
which puts it even with, and then 2 40s. Yeah, this is very tight. She's got to get 40 points out of here to make sure of 2nd place. If she gets a 30.
No, with only 30, she's on 2nd.
Yeah, sorry. 30 points, she's 2nd, 20 points.
She's also 2nd.
You sure? Check, we got 50s.
50, 40, 40, 20, 30. No.
It'll be tie.
No, Janine is ahead because she has one more with 40.
Yeah. But if she gets 30 points, and it looks like she's about to do it, 30 points. So there we go. So
2nd place
for Manon Basseville.
And she needs another 10 points to be able to beat Nina.
So to get on to 200 points and give her a chance at the gold medal, she needs another 10 points, remembering that Nina still has to go through the section, but anything can happen, and a slip on the first gate and a 0 score, which we've seen many times in the past, can really just change everything.
Look at the rear wheel control.
Yes, keeping it on the back wheel. So 40 points for her here. And what is the time like? She's still got 30 seconds.
It's quite a long gate. You have to go up here, and then you have to go through that next one also.
This is very long, and now you've got to get up and onto the...
Yes. No, she can't make it. 3 seconds left. It's a 5.
Oh, just not holding it there. 40 points, but that currently puts her in 2nd place. So Nina, no matter what, has it.
One gate for Nina, and she's the world champion of 2018.
Yeah, but she's still got a section to go. So really riding out of this world, Nina has. She's managed to secure the title without even needing to ride the last section. But she is going to ride it, and what's also cool is she's going to give it her all, because she's going to want to clear this now. She's got no pressure. She can just ride in her own, and I think we're going to see some spectacular riding in this last section from Nina, the Nina Reitenbach from Germany.
Yeah, and well, she has no pressure after she's gone through the first gate.
Yeah.
Really. So let's see how she copes with the first gate.
Even if she doesn't, it's still a win. But I'm sure she's going to want. She's not going to want to win with a tie.
Yeah, because she has a 60 score. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Nina is through the first gate, and she's won. She's the world champion.
What a ride from the German, securing the World Championship title with basically an entire section to go. That's quite rare. It's not a common thing.
Let's see the solution for the fourth gate.
Yeah, also opting to go up the red slope. And keeping it nice and controlled.
There's quite a lot of time left, I think.
Yeah, she's going very quickly. Still a minute to go on the clock.
Let's see if she opts for the rear wheel line or the two-wheel line. Yeah, rear wheel. She has so much control on the rear wheel.
Oh, yeah. Very nicely done.
40 seconds left for the two last gates. And I mean, it could be possible.
Yeah. Come on, I want to see a 60 finish.
Yeah, then there's no doubt.
Oh, yes.
This line is on the border because they moved the front axle over the arrow. But yeah, the judge thinks it's fine.
Handles this one.
Come on, side up. It was a 5
points.
But anyway,
doesn't matter.
40 points
it
more.
It was very close, but it was 5. And Nina Reichenbach, your 2018 trials world champion here in Chengdu, China for the 2018 cycling, urban cycling world championships. What a ride from her. A whole section to go, taking the win, dominant force here, and she is going to be so happy. Now, so this year she won every single World Cup. She won the World Cup title overall, and she's now the world champion for 2nd year in a row.
She won the European Championship also.
She won the European Champs too, so domination, I think that's what you call it. And what a season for her, literally winning everything you can possibly win, and enjoying it on her Krukers bike there. Beautiful new shiny Krukers that she's on, so yeah. Well done to her there.
And also congratulations to the two other podium winners, with Manon on 2nd and Janine on 3rd.
And just want to congratulate Janine on such a good ride. 3rd place. She hasn't competed once this entire year, and she actually hasn't even been riding that much in the early in the year. Just with work, she said it was just really difficult to, and really putting in some focus, getting a lot of preparation done, and getting here and just putting together a great competition for 3rd place, and Manon Bassavel coming through in 2nd place. But yeah, great competition. Well done to the top 6. 6th place we had Perrine de Vaiva from Belgium. In 5th, Irene Caminos from Spain. Then Nadine Kamark in 4th place from Sweden. Janine Jungfoltz from Australia in 3rd. Manon Bassavel from France in 2nd, and the winner today is Nina Reichenbach from Germany. So well done to all the ladies there.
Well done, Nina. How does it feel being world champion this year again?
It feels amazing. I'm so happy that I could defend my title, because this morning my feeling wasn't that good, and now I'm super happy.
Were you feeling a kind of pressure to defend your title?
Yeah, of course there's much pressure, because the season was so far so good. I won every competition, and now it's like the World Championship, the most important competition, and then it's like you won all competitions, now you also have to win the World Champs, and that's a hard pressure.
How was the? Bring us a bit inside your competition today. How was your day? It was kind of slippery with a lot of. We've seen that on the rocks and on the logs.
Yes, the start was really early this morning, and therefore everything was still a bit wet. But it was not such a big problem, because I had good tires, and so it was no problem to keep the balance on all those obstacles.
At the very last section, you had, after Manon, you knew that you were a world champion. How was your mental at that time?
I was still focused into the competition, and my head wasn't like, you're world champion. I was more like, you have to clean the sections, you have to get 40, 50 or maybe 60 points, and yeah.
On top of that, you were silver with the team event, so that's overall a great championship for you.
Yes, of course, the World Championship were amazing. Silver medal with the team and now the rainbow jersey for the third time. Really happy.
Thank you very much and congratulations. Thank you, Nina.
Well done to Nina Reitenbach there. And we're going to be speaking to our top 3 riders. So we'll have an interview with all 3 riders. So next up is Manon Basseville, and we're going to hear about how her competition went.
Manon, congratulations, silver medalist today. You look very happy.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I'm really happy because last year I was 4, so I'm really happy with this. It's a good revenge today.
Thank you very much. Manon, on vous a vu très très souriante à la fin avec cette 2e place. Par rapport à l'année dernière, c'est clairement une très très belle performance.
Oui, c'est une très très belle performance parce que surtout au vu de la saison que j'ai faite, j'étais souvent au pied du podium en 4e position. En demi-finale, toujours, ça se passe très très bien. Sauf que quand j'arrive en finale et que je vois mes concurrentes rouler devant moi, je me liquéfie et je suis super tendue. Donc là, j'ai su tenir la pression. En plus, j'ai commencé en faisant tomber une flèche, en faisant un assez mauvais score sur la première zone. Mais j'ai tenu la pression jusqu'au bout et je suis vraiment contente de mon état d'esprit tout au long de la compétition aujourd'hui.
Bravo, encore félicitations.
Merci beaucoup. Merci.
All right, and that's Manon Basseville, 2nd place here at the UCI Urban Cycling World Championships in the ladies, and what a ride from her. And next up, we've got Janine Jungfals. We're going to hear from her about what happened to her in her competition. She's going to be happy with 3, and let's hear from what she had to say.
No, the concrete section I just made one mistake, which was
Okay. Janine, congratulations. 3rd today in Chengdu. How's the feeling?
Yeah, it was great. I'm really happy to be here. I haven't ridden since last year, so I didn't get to ride any World Cup, so it was great to ride another competition.
Bring us a bit inside your day, your competition. How hard was it?
It was really hard, actually. The levels lifted since last year, and I had to fight for every section, so it was, yeah, it was a really good competition. I really enjoyed it.
Were the weather conditions a bit tricky today with the humidity and the rain?
Oh, there was no rain. There was just the Cascade section, which was wet, but it was a little bit cold this morning, so it was hard to get started. But once we got started, we were warm and ready to fight, so it was nice competition.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. Cheers.
Well done to Janine there. Super happy coming from Australia all the way down under, and yeah, what a competition it was. Alec, what did you think of everything out on course?
I think it was like a really exciting competition because it was so, like, apart from Nina, there was like everyone was battling for the podium almost all the way to the last section.
Yeah, well, it was until the last section. The top 3 could have all changed in the last section, and I think the new scoring system, I really like it. And what's your personal feelings on it?
I like it. It's a big improvement, leap forward for the sport of trials. We can still see improvements in the rules, but where we are now is better than where we were 2 years ago.
Yeah, for me, one of the things I really like about it is the fact that you are now fighting to win points rather than fighting not to lose points.
It's like from penalty to reward.
Yeah.
And it's good for motivation for the riders also, I think.
And points are now valuable, and you want to win something, and that's. I just think it just adds a lot. And the other thing is it gets the riders to fight deeper into the section. The guys will be going super hard all the way to the end of every section. Are we talking through the flower ceremony? All right, and heading over to the flower ceremony for the elite woman here at the 2018 Urban Cycling World Champs here in Chengdu, China. And it brings together the sport of bicycle trial, cross-country eliminator and BMX park. Obviously the very exciting announcement that BMX park is now part of the Olympics for the Tokyo Games. And really is something amazing that the sport of cycling just more and more becoming part of the Olympics. We've got cross-country, we've got road riding, and now BMX racing, and now BMX skate park as well in the Olympics. So cycling worldwide on a good note, going from strength to strength, and well done. And looking over to the flower ceremony, well done to all the ladies there, and getting a very awesome little panda. And obviously the city of Chengdu, well known for their pandas, and really a beautiful city here.
Yeah, another exciting thing is that the final today were 6 different nationalities, which maybe means that the sport of women trials is growing around the world.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Wow.
Yeah.
Geez, yeah. That is really something else to see. So, yeah.
It's
all
Europe
over the
against
world.
Australia, but it's still 5 nationalities.
Yeah. So, as you can see there, yeah. Belgium, Spain, Sweden, Australia and France. And thanks to everybody. That was the ladies race here. We'll be back in very shortly with the 20-inch men's, and we will see you in just a bit. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon.